Welcome to the Hive on Kaya 959 on the street, on the air. We're celebrating Africa Day on a special way. We have the Queen, I'd like to call her, the one and only Simpiwe Dana. Sisunjani?
Niphile siswam, it's so good to be back home.
Yeah, man.
Kaya was named Kaya for a reason.
Definitely.
Yes.
You know, I think first and foremost, I have to start with the fact that there's one song that I absolutely love. And you did a very interesting mix to it. Nzinga.
Yes.
With a Jonas Gwangwa flowers in the background.
Yes.
Like the instrumental. Like, how did that come to be?
I wish that song, Flowers of the Nation, when I heard it, it felt like a national anthem to me. That if there was, there's no need for us to revisit our national anthem, but it really speaks to that, to me. And every time I would be in the audience or backstage, usually I would be backstage, and Babu Jonas I would hear the song start. I would leave whatever I was doing and rush to the stage, and I literally would put my arms up like this. It felt like church.
Yes.
And I've loved that song for so many, many years that I got the idea to interpret it lyrically. And I sought the help of some of our classics also in it. How the song starts, La Lisejo. We know that song.
Yeah.
And then it turns and it becomes something else. I literally just wanted to continue that journey, and tie it to our history and take it into the future.
You've done studio albums and you've got live performances. And I must say, the truth be told is that a lot of artists may be good in the studio, and then the live performance is totally different. Between the two, which is your favorite?
I don't like studio.
I know.
Studio is work. It's back-breaking work. And I don't know how many people like hearing themselves when they record. It's always so weird for me. And as a result, I really have gotten more comfortable, recording by myself with no one else there, And because of my anxieties around recording, I literally am most comfortable now. I've trained myself to know how to work my own studio and record myself without anyone there. And even do my own production. I've been doing this for like a number of years now. I started with where I didn't just do the vocals.
Zandisile?
No, Zandisile, I did it strictly a cappella.
Yeah.
That album. And then the second one, the One Love Movement on Bantubiko Street.
Yes.
That's when I started to experiment with the instrumentation.
2006, you were already starting to do that?
Yes. I've always had a studio. I'm an IT person.
Yes.
And I use that knowledge to my advantage. Once I realized, everything is just technology. You just add that to this, to the computer, and that. It became less daunting and complicated because of my IT background. And so I've always had a studio. My first demo was done at my studio, like my songs that I got a deal with Universal, with Gallo for.
Yes.
They were done in my own tiny studio at home. So I then, with each album, Inkwenkwezi, I did a lot of work on Inkwenkwezi and Mayine on the instrumentation. I literally laid out the instrumentation, and then I got a producer who, because now I was playing like this, I was doing the melodies and the rhythms, because I'm very good with that.
With the ear, yeah.
But I needed someone who understands this thing, they say mathematics of music, rather. And therefore, I then would get producers. And I'm slowly growing, and more, even there, I challenge myself all the time.
Now, one of the things that makes you quite different from a lot of artists in the industry, your live performances again. I mean, from this your attires, the dancers, the orchestra. You know, does graphic design form part of your performances? Because that's it's very visually enticing.
Graphic design peppers everything I do musically, even how I color my music. Education is important for a lot
Amen.
of things, guys. Literally, it taught me a lot about color, and emotion can also be colored. And yes, how I dress, it also definitely influenced that. And a lot of different elements. My background, obviously, I grew up in a church where we wore long dresses, had to cover our
Amaduk.
hair. Yes. So yes, like there's a lot of different influences, but the graphic design, I feel like it tied everything together for me. Yes.
Your music always has a message. Always. I mean, you've sometimes been called a social activist. How important is sending a message out through your music? That it's not just for the sake of, okay, why do you always insist on making sure that you send a message to your fans?
To me, music is a calling. And because to me it's a calling, it is my way of making my stamp, and my influence on the world around me. And the fact that my music has given me a platform to influence, I take that seriously as well. I go even outside of the music. I mean, my music does explain a lot of the things that I end up talking about. At some point I even had a column. But it's very important for me that my music leaves a mark. It changes someone's world. That's very important to me.
State Theatre.
Yes.
Really looking forward to that one. COVID is past, and now, as much as yes, we're still being careful. What can we expect at the State Theatre?
This whole time of COVID, and we've been sitting at home, and in between the feelings of helplessness, some of us have had that moment of thinking of things to do, of ideas and dreaming. So I have a huge repertoire of music in that I invest a lot in my songs. So there's not just one or two songs that stand out in any of my albums, whereas the other ones, don't. But there's only so many songs you can perform in a set. And I feel like I have gotten lazy in that I have found the easiest songs, right? And left out for a number of years now some songs that are beloved that I felt were too challenging, etc., to perform live. For instance, in my last project, uMoya, I did a song called Cruella Teller. I have never performed that song live.
Ever.
And my fans have been asking me for years. It's one of their most favorite songs.
Yeah.
Because I was scared that I could not hit those high
I
notes.
know. Yeah.
But the thing is this, even if I was, I'm an artist. I could have found a way, because there are some songs that you cannot interpret the same way that you did in studio.
The studio, true.
Yes,
True.
I should have challenged myself creatively. So I did a bit of that with the uMoya project. But, some of those songs that I challenged myself with were songs that were already known, like Ndireti.
Yes.
Yes, So now I want to extend that and look into those songs that, like the fans have always loved and I've just pushed aside because, I have enough songs.
Yes.
I can, fill up
For
2
days.
hours.
Yes.
I can fill up 4 hours. I can fill up 6 hours.
Yes.
I'm sure up to 10 hours.
Yes.
So that's what we are doing we are going into my creative bag. That's why the show is themed Ispaji Sika Simpiwe Dana.
Splash, I love it. Absolutely love it, man.
Yes.
Lastly, my sister, your message for the fans and those of us who absolutely adore you. What message do you have for them?
It's been a really tough time. Very, very, very challenging. Perhaps there's a lot of people that have never been challenged this much, particularly mentally, emotionally. We need to find time to create time for all of that we went through. Because I know, Tina, in SA, we have a tendency of joking everything away, right? And then all of these anxieties and mental whatever challenges that, or emotional challenges that we are dealing with, they have a way of coming out, in unintended ways, right? We need to love ourselves enough to tell ourselves that, how I'm feeling, what has happened to me, it matters, and the results of it and, what transpired because of what happened to me, it matters. And I feel some way about it. I'm not going to laugh it away. I'm going to go through the emotion and feel it because it's the only way that I'll get to make peace with it and heal, find some kind of way to not to make peace with it, but to live with it without it harming you. Because sometimes when you ignore these things, like I said, they come out in unintended ways. I feel like SA is one country that needs a lot of healing.
True. And music is one of the best ways to actually heal people.
Yes, definitely. Look, we've used laughter as a coping mechanism for way too long while things fall apart. We do not deal with our issues.
Dealing with our issues, uSisi is talking about expecting the unexpected at the State Theatre. Her name is Simpiwe Dana. Thank you so much, Sisi, for coming to visit us. And I do believe that very soon you're going to come back again.
Thank you so much. And please mention the date.
Yes. It's this
Saturday and Sunday, the 28th and the 29th of May.
There we are. So if you want more information, do make sure that you go on to Simpiwe Dana's, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or
Yes.
Telling you that.
Yes,
thank you so much, Sisi. This is The Hive with me, Bonolo BeeSting, right here on Kaya 959, on the street, on the air.